No, it's aggravating the amount of people in my comments that think that Cuban suffering is not due to socialism and communism, but rather to the sanctions imposed by the US government. It's funny because no Cuban thinks this way, but of course, leave it to a pompous American to tell us who is causing our suffering and who our enemy is. For you that think that, and at the risk of you not believing me, I want you to listen to this directly from the mouth of Marcos Rubio. These are the facts.
Why don't we get rid of the embargo? It would make life easier for them, and I want to address it. In fact, Cuba, frankly, does not have an embargo in the way people think. Cuba trades with the whole world. For example, Cuba every year exports $1.2 billion, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot for an island of 11 million people, okay? They export $461 million to China, $127 million to Spain, $65 million to the Netherlands, $64 million to Germany. This is not a country that's isolated. They trade with every country in the world. They export $5.3 billion a year. With Spain alone, they import, $1 billion from Spain. Another $790 million from China, $327 million from Italy, $285 million from Canada and from Russia. So they import over $5 billion, they export over $1.2 billion. Cuba is not isolated. You know who else they trade with? The United States of America. Cuba trades with the United States of America. They import almost $280 million a year, almost as much as they do with Canada and Russia. And no one accuses Canada and Russia of having a blockade on Cuba. 66% of the chicken that's eaten in Cuba, which is the staple protein in Cuba, comes from the United States. Half their soybeans come from the United States. There is only one blockade in Cuba, and it is the blockade that this regime has imposed on its people.
To this act, Fidel Castro's net worth was around $900 million according to Forbes. He of course denied it and stated that his net worth was zero and he only makes $35 a month. But do you believe that? Now you tell me that Cuba did it wrong and it certainly won't happen here in the United States, but who will make sure of that? You? Will you run for politics and never take advantage of all the resources acquired, not earned by you, but acquired by your government? Never mind, don't answer that. That was a rhetorical question. I don't trust you. And I don't trust any other human beings that think they can implement socialism and communism free of corruption. See, communism advocates for a classless society, but that will never happen. There will always be two classes: the poor masses and the elite politicians who are corrupt and will stand above all others. It will never work. And I have history as my witness. So how dare you? How dare you to tell me and any other Cuban person who is causing our suffering, who the real transgressor behind our suffering is? No, my friend, it is not the United States.